Mr. Mulvaney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mills, thank you for coming today. I applaud your efforts regarding the smaller loans. It's something that we've seen both in this hearing room, but also as we've traveled the country. I know that Ms. Chu and I went out to her district and heard exactly this, that the small business were having difficulty getting access to the smaller loans. And the numbers that you heard the ranking member mention about the size of those $150,000 or less loans dropping from, I think, 17% to 8% is exactly what we're seeing in the real world. So, again, on that front, I applaud you. I guess my question is this. Other than you talked about bringing in some more community banks, which I think is a tremendous idea, because, again, we saw the same thing you've just described, which is that fewer banks are actually doing this. You get to a bigger bank, the small loans don't make any money for them, so we have to figure out a way to fix this. How, beyond reaching out on this More Doors, More Dollars program, how are you actually physically changing the process? Specific examples of how you're making it easier for my local Camden Community Bank to make a $50,000 SBA loan?
Well, we would be very happy to sort of walk you through the actual changes. We have re-engineered our entire Small Loan Advantage, and this is what launched. Small Loan Advantage is actually a processing option for lenders, and it is under our 7A program, but it is designed to solve the problem that lenders have, which is making small loans wasn't affordable. They weren't making any loans because they weren't making any money making those loans. So we have recently implemented further streamlining, and the use of these small business predictive scores is a very important component of that because it reduces the time to make the loan, and it has been proven much more predictive of success than consumer credit scores. So that's one of the key
I understand
components.
the change on that, but if I'm a banker, and I used to do loan closings, and I dealt with bankers all the time,
Yes.
and if I'm a banker, one of the things I'm interested in is the number of forms I have to fill out and the number of documents that I have to process.
Well, we are happy to take you through them. They are much reduced. They are much more automated.
And you think it's more accessible now to community banks than it was a year ago?
Absolutely. We have changed this format so that it is open to all lenders, not just our preferred lenders. And we have a streamlined option. Lenders have the option of using their own notes, for instance, instead of using SBA notes, so that reduces the amount of paperwork. That's a tangible
Is what you just
example.
described part and parcel of that program that went in on June 1st, or was that a different program?
No, this is part of the June
Part and
1st
parcel.
revision.
Okay. Well, good. I encourage you to continue to do that because, like I said, what we've seen in the real world is that for small businesses, these things have dried up. I've got a couple very quick questions to follow up on what Colonel West had asked about, which was the 50 loan officers or brokers, packagers that were suspended or disbarred, the 347 lenders that you took off of the, you did not renew their preferred status. I recognize that's those 400 different circumstances, but do you see any general trends in the reasons why you are taking those actions? What are you seeing out in the field amongst the loan officers, for example? Are there general things that are happening that says, wait a second, this is one of the things reasons we get rid of these folks?
Well, that's a very good question, and I think once again I'd like to get back with you on the details. But we know now that we have a whole series of indicators, and we are incorporating those learnings when we know, for instance, lender behavior is a very important indicator. When loans start to go up very, very fast, it's an important time to look at a lender and dig deeper and perhaps do a more risk-based audit. So we are using those criteria, and we can show you what they are.
Great. Thank you. And then finally, last question on a budget, and I apologize for being the budget person. The budget this year did not request an extension of the commercial refinancing program in 504. Why was that?
Well, the commercial refinancing program in 504 has, in fact, been quite a successful program in the last year, and it has allowed small businesses to refinance mortgages and use some of that capital as working capital, which has allowed them to grow and create some jobs. It does expire at the end. It is not authorized to go forward, but I will point out that it has picked up steam, and there's a lot of people out there who like it.
Great. I yield back the balance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.